Hello everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today.
Hey there, great to see you all again. I was just thinking about something that happened to me at the park yesterday. I saw someone reading my favorite book, and I really wanted to say something, but I froze. I didn't know how to start a conversation.
Oh, I've been there so many times. It's that moment when you want to talk to someone but the words just won't come out. What did you end up doing?
Well, I just smiled and walked away, and then I felt disappointed in myself. But that experience is exactly why our topic today is so important. We're talking about how to start a conversation with a stranger in English.
This is going to be so helpful. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to say to start a conversation naturally. You'll have phrases for different situations, and you'll feel much more confident talking to new people.
This skill is a game changer. Whether you're traveling, at a party, or just waiting in line somewhere, knowing how to start a conversation opens up so many opportunities.
Here's a question for you before we dive in. Have you ever wanted to talk to someone in English but didn't know what to say? What stopped you? Tell us your story in the comments.
Yes, share your experiences with us. We've all felt that nervousness. And while you're at it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Simple English Talks so you don't miss any of our episodes.
All right, let's jump right in. Where should we start?
Let's start with the basic concept. What's the secret to starting a conversation with a stranger without feeling awkward?
Okay, so here's the foundational idea. Starting a conversation with a stranger in English doesn't require anything complicated. The simplest and most effective formula is observation plus question. You notice something about the person or the situation, and you ask a friendly question about it.
The structure is simple. You say something you notice, then ask an open-ended question. For example, you see someone with a cute dog. You say, "Your dog is so cute. What kind of dog is that?" That's it. Observation plus question.
Let me give you some concrete examples of the most common conversation starters. The easiest one is the compliment opener. "I love your shoes. Where did you get them?" Or, "That's a great jacket. Is it new?" People love receiving compliments, and it immediately creates a positive feeling.
Another classic is the situation opener. You're both waiting in a long line. You can say, "This line is taking forever, isn't it? Have you been here before?" You're both in the same situation, so it feels natural to comment on it.
Haha, oh, I use the situation opener all the time. Just last week, I was at a coffee shop, and the barista was taking a long time. I turned to the person next to me and said, "I guess we're all here for the same reason. Worth the wait though, right?" And we ended up having a lovely chat.
That's a perfect personal example. You commented on the shared situation and added a positive spin at the end. That's advanced conversation starting right there.
Here's another everyday example. If you're at a party or an event, you can use the connection opener. "How do you know the host?" Or, "Is this your first time at one of these events?" You're looking for something you might have in common.
Now let's practice together. I'll describe a situation, and you try to come up with an observation plus question opener. Ready? You're at a bookstore, and someone is looking at a book by your favorite author.
I'd say, "That's one of my favorite authors. Have you read anything else by them?" Simple, genuine, and it opens the door for a conversation about books.
You're at a gym, and someone is doing an exercise you've been wanting to try.
I'd say, "I've been wanting to try that exercise. Does it work well for you?" You're showing interest in asking for their opinion. People love sharing their knowledge.
Now, listeners, your turn. You're at a park, and someone is playing with a frisbee. What could you say to start a conversation? Say it out loud right now.
You could say, "That looks like fun. Do you play frisbee often?" Or, "I've always wanted to learn how to throw a frisbee properly. Any tips?" Now let's talk about what not to do. Sometimes the wrong opener can make things awkward. Avoid questions that are too personal. Don't ask about money, age, or relationship status. Stick to the situation, the environment, or something the person is doing.
Can you try this? Think of a safe, friendly opener for someone sitting next to you on a plane. What would you say? Something like, Are you heading home or going on an adventure? Is friendly without being too personal.
So to summarize this first section, the basic formula for starting a conversation is observation plus question. Use complement openers, situation openers, or connection openers. Keep it light, friendly, and not too personal.
Now let's build on this foundation. Once you've started the conversation, how do you keep it going? Because starting is only half the battle. The real skill is continuing naturally.
Oh, this is where a lot of people get stuck. You start the conversation, the person responds, and then you don't know what to say next. There's that awkward silence. So let's talk about follow-up phrases.
Exactly. Let me introduce some follow-up techniques. The first one is the echo technique. You repeat a key word the person said and turn it into a question. If they say, "I just got back from Italy," you say, "Italy? That's amazing. What part did you visit?"
I love the echo technique. It shows you're listening, and it gives you an easy next question. Another technique is the feeling follow-up. If they tell you something, ask how they felt about it. If they say they started a new job, you say, "That's exciting. How are you feeling about it so far?"
Let's do a dialogue demonstration. I'll be the stranger, and you use follow-up techniques to keep the conversation going.
Okay, I'm ready.
I just moved here from Chicago.
Chicago, that's a big change. How are you finding it here so far?
It's been great, but I miss the food back home.
Oh, I can imagine. What kind of food do you miss the most? See how I echoed Chicago, asked about feelings, and then asked a follow-up about food. Each question flows naturally from their answer.
That was smooth. Now let's compare formal and informal situations. In a professional networking event, you might say, "I'm curious to hear more about your work in marketing. What projects are you currently focused on?" In a casual party, you'd say, "Oh, you work in marketing? That sounds cool. What's that like?"
Same curiosity, different tone. The formal version uses more structured language. The casual version is shorter and more relaxed. Both work, but you need to match the situation.
Here's a quick practice activity. I'll give you a statement from a stranger, and you give me a follow-up question. Ready? I'm training for a marathon.
A marathon, that's impressive. What made you decide to do that? Or, how's the training going? Both are natural follow-ups.
I'm learning to play the guitar.
The guitar! I've always wanted to learn. What made you pick that instrument? Showing a little bit about yourself, like "I've always wanted to learn," helps build connection too.
Now, some specific tips. First, listen for details in their answer. Every sentence they say has something you can ask about. Second, don't worry about being clever. Simple questions like, "What was that like?" or "Tell me more about that," are always effective. Third, share a little about yourself too. A conversation is a two-way street.
Those are excellent tips. And please, write in the comments. What's your favorite conversation starter in your own language? Does it translate well to English? We'd love to know.
Yes, share that with us. Let's review this section. Follow-up techniques like the echo, the feeling follow-up, and sharing a bit about yourself keep conversations flowing naturally. Match your tone to the situation and always listen for details you can ask about.
All right, we've covered how to start and how to continue. Now let's talk about something really important. How to start conversations in specific, sometimes tricky situations. Because starting a chat at a party is different from starting one at a bus stop.
This is such an important section, because context changes everything. Let's talk about 3 specific scenarios where you might want to start a conversation.
The first scenario is the everyday public place. You're at a coffee shop, a park, a bus stop, or a grocery store. In these situations, the best openers are brief, casual, and related to the immediate environment.
For example, at a coffee shop, you can say, "That drink looks amazing. What did you order?" At a grocery store, you can say, "Have you tried this brand before? I'm never sure which one to pick." These are low pressure and easy to exit if the person doesn't seem interested.
The second scenario is social events. Parties, meetups, networking events. At these places, people actually expect to talk to strangers, so you can be a bit more direct. The classic, "Hi, I'm Enna. What brings you here?" works perfectly.
Here's a tip for social events. Look for people who are standing alone. They're probably feeling just as awkward as you are. Walk up and say, "I never know what to do at these events. Mind if I join you?" Honesty is disarming and likable.
Haha, I've used that exact opener. I said, "I don't know anyone here yet. Can I stand with you?" And the person laughed and said they didn't know anyone either. We became friends that night.
The third scenario is the cultural or travel situation. When you're in a new country or meeting someone from a different culture, showing genuine curiosity is key. Asking about local recommendations is always a hit.
In a travel situation, you can say, "Excuse me, I'm new here. Do you have any recommendations for places to eat around here?" Or, "That's a beautiful language you're speaking. What language is that?" Genuine curiosity is never offensive.
Let's talk about tone and delivery. When starting a conversation with a stranger, your body language and tone matter as much as your words. Smile genuinely. Make brief eye contact. Keep your voice warm and relaxed. If you seem nervous, they might feel uncomfortable too.
That's such an important point. Listeners, let's practice tone. Say this with me. "Hi, I love your bag. Where did you get it?" First, say it like you're genuinely curious and friendly. Now say it like you're in a hurry and don't really care. The words are the same, but the first version invites conversation. The second shuts it down.
Here's a real-life practice situation. You're at a conference and you see someone wearing a pin from your favorite sports team. You want to start a conversation. What do you say?
I'd say, "Hey, I love that pin. Are you a fan of the team too?" Or, "No way, I support them as well. Did you watch the game last week?" Shared interests are the easiest conversation starters in the world.
Now, listeners, let's do a mini practice. I'll describe a scenario, and you respond out loud with a conversation starter. You're at a dog park and someone has the same breed of dog as you. What do you say?
Say it out loud. Something like, "Oh wow, another golden retriever. They're the best, aren't they? How old is yours?"
Now create your own. Think of a place you go to regularly. A gym, a library, a café. What could you say to someone there that you've seen before but never talked to? Speak your opener out loud right now.
Yes, out loud practice is so important. These phrases need to feel natural coming out of your mouth. The more you practice them alone, the easier they'll come when you're actually in the situation.
So to review this section, different situations call for different approaches. Public places need brief, casual openers. Social events allow for more direct introductions. And travel situations are perfect for showing genuine curiosity. Always match your tone and body language to your words.
Okay, now let's be honest about what can go wrong. Because starting conversations with strangers can be scary, and mistakes happen. Let's learn from them.
Oh, I have definitely made some awkward mistakes. One time I complimented someone's shirt and asked where they got it. They said it was a gift, and they didn't know. And then we just stood there in silence. I didn't have a follow-up ready.
Haha, that's so relatable. So let's break down the common mistakes. The first mistake is asking questions that can be answered with one word. If you ask, "Do you like this weather?" they say yes or no. That's a dead end. Instead, ask open-ended questions. What's your favorite thing to do on a sunny day like this?
Here's the incorrect and correct version. Incorrect. Do you like coffee? Correct. What's your go-to coffee order? The second question invites a longer answer and naturally leads to more conversation.
The second mistake is talking too much about yourself too quickly. You ask one question, they give a short answer, and then you tell them your entire life story. That can be overwhelming. The conversation should be balanced. Ask, listen, share a little, then ask again.
Better alternative? Follow the ping-pong rule. You ask a question, they answer, you share a related thought, then you ask another question. Back and forth. back and forth, like a game of ping pong.
The third mistake is not reading social cues. If someone is giving short answers, looking away, or putting on headphones, they probably don't want to talk. And that's okay. It's not about you. They might just be busy or tired.
That's such an important point. If you get a signal that someone isn't interested, just smile and say, "Nice talking to you. Have a great day," and move on. No harm done.
Haha, here's a funny example from my life. I once tried to start a conversation with someone at a bus stop. I said, "Long wait, huh?" And they pointed to their ears and shook their head. They were wearing headphones and couldn't hear me. I just smiled and gave a thumbs up. Now I always check for headphones first.
That's hilarious. The fourth mistake is overthinking and not saying anything at all. The biggest missed opportunity is the conversation you never start. Even if your opener isn't perfect, it's better than silence.
Let's practice catching these mistakes. I'll say a conversation starter, and you tell me what's wrong. To someone wearing a band t-shirt, "Do you like music?"
It's a yes or no question. Better to say, "Great shirt. What's your favorite album by them?" Much more engaging.
Here's another one. You're at a party. You walk up to someone and say, "Hi, my name is Enna. I work in finance, and I just got promoted. What do you do?"
You jumped into your own story too fast. Better to say, "Hi, I'm Smith. How do you know the host?" Then listen and build from there.
Now listeners, what's wrong with this response to someone's short answer? They say they're a student. You say, "Oh, I was a student once. I studied engineering. It was really hard. I remember this one professor who always gave impossible exams."
You're dominating the conversation. Ask them about their studies instead. What are you studying? How do you like it? Keep the focus on them at first.
And remember, mistakes are completely normal. Every awkward conversation teaches you something. I've had hundreds of awkward moments, and each one made me better at this. You will too.
Absolutely. Be kind to yourself. Starting conversations with strangers is hard, even for native speakers. You're doing it in a second language. That's brave.
So we've covered 4 common mistakes: asking yes or no questions, dominating the conversation, not reading social cues, and overthinking instead of speaking. Now you know what to avoid.
And now it's time for interactive practice. This is where we put everything together.
I'm excited. All right, we're going to do a choose the best opener activity. I'll give you a situation and 2 options. You choose which conversation starter is better. Ready?
Let's go. First situation. You're at a bookstore and someone is holding a cookbook. Option 1. Do you like food? Option 2. That cookbook looks great. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Definitely option 2. It's specific, shows genuine interest, and invites a real answer. Option 1 is a yes or no question that could stop the conversation immediately.
Next situation. You're at a networking event and you see someone standing alone. Option 1. Hi, I'm Smith. I hate these events, don't you? Option 2. Hi, I'm Smith. What brings you here tonight?
Option 2 is better. Even though option 1 is honest, starting with something negative can set a bad tone. Option 2 is positive and open-ended.
Now your turn, listeners. You're waiting for a bus and it's raining. Option 1. Terrible weather, isn't it? Option 2. I always forget my umbrella. At least the plants are happy. Which sounds friendlier? Choose and say it out loud.
Option 2 is nicer. It acknowledges the rain, but adds a positive, slightly funny twist. It makes you seem friendly and optimistic.
Here's a variation. How would you start a conversation with a stranger at a concert? You both clearly like the same music. What could you say that's better than, "Do you like this band?"
You could say, "I've been waiting to see them live for years. Have you seen them before?" Or, "What's your favorite song by them?" You're connecting over a shared interest.
One more challenge. Create your own conversation starter for this situation. You're at a farmer's market on a Saturday morning. Write your opener in the comments and then say it out loud.
And here's my final challenge for you. This week, try to start one conversation in English with a stranger. Just one. It doesn't have to be long. Even a quick exchange at a coffee shop counts. Use what you learned today and see how it feels.
That's a fantastic challenge. The goal isn't to become a master conversationalist overnight. The goal is to practice and build confidence. Every conversation you start is a victory.
Wow, we covered so much today. Let's do a quick summary of everything we learned about starting conversations with strangers.
We covered 3 main areas today. First, the basic formula. Observation plus question. Use compliments, the shared situation, or connections to start a conversation naturally.
Second, we talked about how to keep the conversation going. The echo technique, feeling follow-ups, and sharing a little about yourself. Remember the ping-pong rule. Ask, listen, share, ask again.
Third, we explored different scenarios, casual public places, social events, and travel situations. Each one needs a slightly different approach, but genuine curiosity works everywhere.
And we covered the common mistakes, asking dead-end yes or no questions, talking too much about yourself, not reading social cues, and overthinking instead of just saying something.
I'm so proud of everyone who practiced along with us. Remember, starting conversations is a skill. Like any skill, it gets better with practice. Every time you do it, you get a little braver and a little better.
You're not just learning English, you're learning how to connect with people, and that's one of the most valuable skills in the world.
So here's a reflective question for you. What's one place you go regularly where you could practice starting a conversation? A cafe? The gym? A class? Tell us your plan in the comments.
Yes, we want to hear your plan. Pick a place and pick an opener, then come back and tell us how it went. We love hearing your stories.
If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. It helps other English learners find simple English talks. And subscribe if you haven't already. We create new episodes every single week.
Share this episode with a friend who's also learning English. You can practice conversation starters together. Role-play meeting for the first time. It's actually really fun.
That's a great idea. Learning together makes everything easier. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. You're doing amazing work on your English journey.
Be proud of yourself. You're learning skills that go way beyond grammar and vocabulary. You're learning to connect, to be brave, and to open doors to new friendships. That's beautiful.
Keep going. Keep practicing. And most importantly, keep talking to people. The world is full of interesting strangers waiting to become friends.
See you next time on Simple English Talks. Bye, everyone.
See you next time.